Visit CCGCastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more. Hello and welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. Today's video will be looking at 3 different types of the deck that you can actually play in the standard format with Darkrai and Giratina. So this is the first version and this is a speed version of the deck. So what is really interesting about this build? Definitely a Darkrai-EX with 180 HP and the Dark Pulse attack. With just a single double Chorus energy or with the 2 any energies, you can hit for 20 plus 20 more for each darkness energy attached to all of your Pokemons in play. And that's very good because we have those double dragon energies who can be actually attached on a Giratina-EX, and it will provide 2 double Chorus energies, but also Max Elixirs will give us the opportunity to look at the top 6 cards of our deck. If we find the basic energy card there, we can just easily attach that energy to one of our benched Pokemons, and pretty much that's it. So in theory, turn 1 you can have like 4 energies with the Max Elixirs and 1 energy from your hand, which is like 5 energies, maybe even 6 if you count Double Dragon energy, which is just amazing. That can be 150 damage turn 1. How you can do that? Well, definitely you can do that in help of the energy switch. So this deck wouldn't be that good if there is no energy switch, because with the energy switch we can move a basic energy from one of our benched Pokemons to one of our active Pokemon. And for example, if we can hit something like 2 Max Elixirs and we have 2 energy switches, we can attach both energy switches, for example, from benched Pokemon to the Darkrai-EX in the active position, and then we can just use Double Dragon energy to attach it, for example, on our benched Giratina, and we can hit for the 100, 110 with the Fighting Fury Belt turn 1, which is just amazing. So in this build I'm running only 9 Pokemons, 37 trainer cards and 14 energies, which is definitely very big amount of the energies in this deck. So let me show you what else I have. So 2 copies of Shaymin for the setup, of course. 2 copies of the Darkrai, I should say, as the main attacker, but if we need a backup attacker, we can also use Giratina-EX with the Chaos Wheel and Regenerative Pulse. Basically, with the Chaos Wheel, we can hit for the 100 and prevent our opponent from playing a tool card, Special Energy, and Stadium, which is just very, very powerful. Also, I'm running 1 copy of Baby Yveltal EX with that Oblivion Wing and Darkness Blade, but the most important thing, there is 1 Umbreon-EX as a tech with the endgame. So with the 3 energies, I can just hit for the 70, and if I knock it out my opponent Mega EX with this endgame attack, I can grab 2 more extra prizes, which is not that hard because a lot of people these days are actually attempting to play Mega Evolution decks, and basically with something like a Ninja Boy, you can just surprise your opponent, search your deck for that Umbreon, and basically put in the active position, hit for the 70. If that's going to be enough to knock out your opponent, you can just easily smile to him and grab 4 prizes, maybe even end the game. So in order to that, I'm also running 2 copies of Energy Switch, so I can basically move any basic energy from 1 to other Pokemon in play. 1 Escape Rope, which can always help you. 4 copies of Max Elixir, of course, so I can have pretty much fast acceleration. 1 copy of Super Rod will give me the opportunity to maybe, if I start with my Umbreon, retreat it onto my bench, cut it with my Parallel City so I can put it back into my deck so I can use it with my Ninja Boy. So that's the reason my Super Rod is good, but also it can give me the opportunity to put back my Darkrays or Giratinas, maybe even basic energies. 4 Trainers Mail for the best consistency, same as the 4 Ultra Balls and V Seekers. From supporter cards, of course, I'm running also 1 copy of Delinquent. So with the Delinquent, I can also have pretty good opportunity to discard any Stadium from play and force my opponent to discard 3 cards from his hand. 1 Hex Maniac to shut down those abilities, especially on the Greninja Break decks. Copy of Lysandre 2 and 1 Ninja Boy, which is always good. Unfortunately, it's not allowed to play on the online. Also running 1 Ranger for those Jolteon-EX attacks, and of course 4 Professor Sycamore to be able to have 7 new cards. For the Stadium card, I decided to keep a 2 Parallel City because against deck like, for example, Mega Rayquaza, you can just easily cut him down to 3 Pokemons on the bench and reduce the damage output that he can do with his Mega Rayquaza, but also you can remove any of your Pokemons from the bench that you actually don't want to have. 2 copies of Fighting Fury Belt, 2 Float Stones, and of course I'm running 14 energies, which is, I guess, the biggest amount of the energies that I run in any deck. 4 of them are Double Dragon energies, and 10 of them are actually just a basic Darkness energies. So that's pretty much a first build, which is actually a speed version of this deck. So let's move to the deck number 2. Alright, so let's take a look at the version number 2. So the version number 2 is almost identical, but few adjustments actually has been made. So for example, when you're looking at the Pokemons, right now I'm running 10 Pokemons, 38 trainer cards, and 12 energies. So for example, I added second Yveltal. So basically, I would like to start with the Oblivion Wing, since this is actually not a fast version of the deck or not the speed version of the deck, it's more disruptive version. So you definitely want to have that ability to open with your baby Yveltal and use Oblivion Wing to power up your benched Pokemons if you need. So the line of the Pokemons stay the same for the Shaymins, Darkrai-EX, Umbreon, Giratina, and Hoopa, but I actually added that second Yveltal. But in this version, you should probably notice that I'm running 2 copies of Enhanced Hammer. That's because the meta is definitely going to be around special energies. A lot of people will play those Mega Mewtwo decks who actually run those double cores energies with the Psychic Infinity attack, Mega Rayquazas. Also, a lot of people will play those mirror matches with Darkrai Giratina, so I think having 2 copies of Enhanced Hammer will definitely help you a lot, especially in the mirror match, to take advantage by discarding those special double dragon energies or any other double chorus energy or rainbow energy from your opponent Pokemons in play, but also being able to have that Chaos Wheel before your opponent, especially in a mirror match, will definitely take so much advantage, especially if you can disrupt him with those Enhanced Hammers. Pretty much, Escape Rope stays the same, but for example, Max Elixirs are also the same, but this actually deck version ran 1 copy of Special Charge, because since this only deck have 12 energies, I decided to roll with 1 copy of Special Charge because I might also suffer from those double cores energy, double dragon energies discardment, and having 1 special charge will help a little bit. For example, Super Rod and Trainers Mails and Ultra Ball and Seeker stay the same. So we have also 1 copy of Delinquent, Hexmaniac, Lysandre in this version, also 2 copies of N, 1 Ninja Boy of course, so we can surprise our opponent maybe with Umbreon, maybe with turn 2, basically Giratina or whatever we need. 1 Ranger of course for those pretty much Regis-EX, and also for those Jolteon-EXs, same as the 4 Professor Sycamore, that stay the same. And as you can see, 2 copies of Parallel City also stay the same as the 2 Fighting Fury Belts, 2 Float Stones, 4 Double Dragon Energies, and 8 Darkness Energies. In my opinion, since this is not speed version, it's much a disruptive version, you can actually, with this version of the deck, try to control early and mid game against your opponent, especially if his deck is actually built to work around those special energies. So let's move to the version number 3. Alright guys, so let's take a look at the version number 3. So this is the version number 3 of the Darkrai Giratina deck, but this one actually features a Garbodor. So if you're not familiar with the Garbodor, it's a Garbodor with the Garbotoxin ability, a very well-known card. The first was introduced in the Dragons Exalted, later reprinted in the Legendary Treasure, and right now we have this card in the Breakpoint, basically with the ability that as long as Garbodor have actually tool attached to it, if this Pokemon has any tool attached to it, basically any Pokemon in each player hand, discard pile, or in play will have no abilities, which is just broken. And for example, those Greninja breaks will not be able to use those John Water Shurikens, and this is just very, very interesting. Also, the big problem having Garbodor in play might be those Mega Evolutions, because if you have Garbodor, then your Giratina Reganget pulls will not work. But if you play against Mega deck, probably you will not attach tool if you don't need to attach it. So you just want to have your Giratina able in the active position, ready to attack. But again, your opponent can always use Hexmaniac and shut down the ability and pretty much go through your Giratina ability. But also, this list of the Pokemons are pretty much identical to the version number 1 with those Shaymins, Darkrai-EX. I also run 1 copy of the Umbreon with the endgame attack, which can also help us a lot, just because I'm also running Ninja Boy, which can definitely be very, very interesting surprise for any opponent on the other side. But also 1 copy of Yveltal with the Oblivion Wing will help us to have the ability to accelerate our benched Pokemons with that Oblivion Wing, and of course 2 copies of Giratina-EX with that Chaos Wheel. So 13 Pokemons, 35 trainer cards, and 12 energies pretty much. Other cards, as you can see in this list, 1 copy of Escape Rope, so we can escape from the active position to one of our benched Pokemons, but we can also force our opponent to promote one of his benched Pokemons in the active position. I decide to keep 4 Max Elixirs so I can have ability to pretty much get energy acceleration to my benched Pokemons. 1 Special Charge. This card you cannot find in the version number 1, but in the version number 2 or 3, I definitely decide to keep play 1 copy of Special Charge, just because I'm not running enhanced hammers, and you never know, maybe your opponent will be able to scrap your special energies, so that's the reason why having Special Charge might be good. Also 1 copy of Super Rod, 4 copies of Trainers Mail, Ultra Balls, and Seeker, so it's pretty much the same. But from supporter cards, I'm also running 1 copy of Delinquent, and the good surprise right here is that I'm not running Hex Maniac just because I already handed Garbodor with the Garbotoxin, so I just don't need to have Hex Maniac in this build. 1 copy of Lysandre, 2 copies of N, of course 1 copy of Ninja Boy, so we can actually choose one of our basic Pokemon in play. We can search our deck for another basic Pokemon and switch this Pokemon with the Pokemon from the with the Pokemon from the deck, and pretty much any attached cards, damage counter, special conditions, turns in play, and any other effect will remain on the new Pokemon. So, in my opinion, Ninja Boy can definitely be good, especially for that Umbreon tech, so we can actually end the game if we can knock out somehow our opponent Mega Evolution Pokemon. Of course, 1 Ranger for Regice and Jolteon, pretty much 4 Sycamores. Everything else is pretty much identical, like the version number 2 and almost like the version number 1. So 2 copies of Parallel City, 2 Fighting Fury Belts, 2 Float Stones. In addition to that, I decide to pretty much keep my 4 Double Dragon Energies and 8 Darkness Energies, which means that this is the version number 3 deck. So very interesting with the Garbodor. Of course, you can have pretty much 3 different versions, as you can see. The speed version of the Darkrai Giratina deck, you can have the disrupting version, and you can have this one with the ability control. So you can definitely try to pick any of these 3 deck types and try to build and test and see how good or how bad they actually are. So once again, thanks for your time. Don't forget to hit the like button on the video if you like it, or dislike if you didn't like it. Let me know what you think about this deck list. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave comments below. And the most important thing, if you already didn't, please consider to subscribe to my channel for more future videos. Till the next time, have a nice day and goodbye.